Take on the inflation framework. Lata Venkatesh joins us for more. Lata, can you explain the origin of the flexible inflation targeting framework and where things currently stand?
Well, the flexible inflation targeting framework was formally adopted in 2015 when the Urjit Patel committee, he was then the deputy governor of the Reserve Bank, he recommended this in a report, and in 2016 it came into motion. What does it say? Basically, that the Reserve Bank and the MPC, which comprises 3 RBI members and 3 external members, that MPC has the mandate to ensure that CPI inflation, consumer price, not wholesale price, other inflation, CPI inflation remains at 4% with a margin. It can go 2% higher or lower, plus or minus 2%, because there will always be some spikes. Now, this has this succeeded? From 2016, inflation has remained above 6% for the better part, barring a few months during COVID when there were supply disruptions. Inflation has worked. The inflation targeting framework has kept inflation below 6%. And this is in sharp contrast to the previous 4 or 5 years, say 2009 to 2013, when inflation was persistently near double digits, almost 10% for 4 continuous years. So it seems a success. Now, pre the IT framework, there was no mandate given to the Reserve Bank, but broadly it was expected to keep inflation down and also help growth. So it was not stated numerically. Now, this IT framework also has another component. Every 5 years, it goes to Parliament to be re-endorsed because it was once passed by Parliament in 2015. Now, why this debate becomes important is the Chief Economic Advisor, Anantha Nageswaran, both in the economic survey and in a piece recently, in an opinion piece, has said that this IT framework needs to be questioned, inflation targeting framework. What are we doing? We are giving Reserve Bank a target. Now, suppose food prices rise because of a crop failure. How can raising interest rates impact it? So we are giving the Reserve Bank a target for, over which it really has no control, the causes for which it cannot control. And he also goes on to say that when there is food inflation, it is the government, the fisc, which steps in with whatever, export bans or import, lowering import tariffs or importing some kinds of pulses or whatever. So the fisc has should have a voice in the committee. He even makes that point. In that piece, he also says, maybe we should go back to the previous, when the RBI did not have a target at all. It was called the multi-indicator approach, where the Reserve Bank was expected to pursue stable inflation, good growth, several targets. Maybe we should go back to that. That is the piece. So now the inflation targeting framework under the statute itself comes up for review in March 2025. Like I told you, every 5 years, it is reviewed by Parliament. The market, economists, bond traders are now wondering whether this March 25 is not going to be a cosmetic review. In March 2020, when it was reviewed, it just got passed. Exactly, 4% plus or minus 2%. Now, will they change it? Will they make it 3%? Will they make it 5%? Will they say, no, it is not going to be headline inflation. It will only be non-food, which is called core inflation. Or will it be completely removed? All those doubts have started coming into the market. This debate is important because it, clearly impacts the way interest rates will be set.
Right. Thank you, Lata, for that comprehensive explanation. Moving on, banks need